the soldier, the athlete, the farmer. You know, I often say we are in this world, but we are not of this world. I'm not the only one who says that, by the way. So I didn't come up with that. But in reference to navigating this illusion, maneuvering this illusion, the slalom course that is this illusion, most fall into the trap of buying in and tethering themselves, chaining themselves, binding themselves, yoking themselves to the rules of the illusion. And when you bind yourself to the rules of the illusion, you typically end up longing, hungering, thirsting for answers, for fulfillment, for satisfaction, because you never get any. And the only escape you ever get, which is also the only satisfaction you ever get, is a cheap thrill, a cheap high, cheap titillation, cheap entertainment. And then it leaves you bereft, wanting even more, it never being enough. And this is what leads to addictions, drugs, alcohol, pornography. It's what leads to the defilement and debasement of your character. Because you're always clawing and scratching. You're always cannibalizing, conquering, dominating, looking for a way to get ahead. Either get ahead in your job, get ahead versus your fellow man, get ahead learning-wise, money-wise, house-wise, car-wise, clothing-wise. You're always looking to one-up yourself, one-up someone else. You're looking for power. You're looking for respect. You're looking to claim dominion over this plane of existence, this ephemeral temporary plane, which means nothing in the grand scheme, because this is nothing more than a test and a challenge. And you will be judged. You have no doubt about it. You will be judged. Yahusha HaMashiach, Yahuwah, the Most High, He who breathes life, He who brings into existence, He who creates, and Yahusha, Son of the Most High, perfect Lamb of Yahuwah, He, the Most High, who saves, the Most High, who delivers, the Most High, who redeems. We will be judged on how we conducted ourselves in this life, and if we bind ourselves to this illusion and the rewards, the effect, as temporary as they may be, which again are nothing more than cheap highs, cheap thrills, cheap titillation, always leaving you grasping, always leaving you with more questions, never knowing the answer, always looking for gurus, always looking for mentors, always looking for magi, always looking for illusionists, always looking for the yogis, the wise men, the holy men, the priests, always searching for some other man to come up with the blueprint, the instructions, the battle plan. And they're always selling you the pipe dream. Like you're smoking it in a pipe and it evaporates because it's an illusion. So it evaporates just like a dream. It evaporates. Selling you a dream. Selling you what you have to pay them for. Think about this. Even if you're not paying them up front, think of what happens. Because they teach you. They instruct you. They guide you. They direct you. Such that you need them to interpret what you're doing is right. You need them. You go to them for absolution. You go to them for guidance. Why? Because the plan they're selling you is filled with twists and turns and learnings and traditions, ceremonies and rituals, which you have to learn and learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. And none of us are dedicating our lives to being a monk in these cults, in these religious orders, in these self-help retreats where you take on someone else's religion, for lack of a better word, or philosophy. And so because you don't dedicate your life to it, it takes years, if not decades, to master. And all that time, even though you have been paying for it, if you haven't, most likely you are because they're all selling something. But even if you're not, think about what they're gaining out of this. They're gaining power, dominion, control over you because, again, since they're the experts, you need them for instruction, interpretation, absolution, guidance. And as I said, you're still left wanting more. Every time you open a door, there's another locked door behind it. Every time you get an answer to a question, there's another question behind it. Every time you get to the top of the mountain, you find you're at the bottom of another. And it never ends, it never ends, it never ends. And you're always trying to manipulate circumstances, manipulate people, manipulate environments, manipulate your surroundings, manipulate outcomes, manipulate results, manipulate, when none of it's in our control. You think it's in your control. Again, that's part of the illusion. And then you wonder why. Even those who you view as supremely successful, ask them. They're never satisfied. They're never gratified. They're always hunting for more. They're always looking. It's never enough. Claw, scratch, scrounge, strangle, conquer. It never ends. And even when these so-called successful ones get to the peak of the mountain that they've been climbing, just like Sisyphus, the boulder rolls back down and they're doomed to push it back up again and again and again and again and again and again. It never ends. And for those who aren't successful by the rules of this world and find themselves not being able to navigate this illusion, not being able to conquer this illusion, not being able to manipulate the rules of this illusion to their liking, even for instances like the so-called successful, the ones who continually wallow in anxiety and frustration and loss, what happens to them? It's the same things that happen to the so-called successful ones who are at the top of the peak only to realize, now what? I thought I was happy, but I'm not happy. What's the answer? What's the truth? What does it all mean? The same thing for the person who never manages to figure out this game that only leads to frustration anyway. But even for those that don't try to figure out and think that's where success lies, what happens to them? So the so-called successful ones are chasing their tail round and around. They're on the hamster wheel, the endless treadmill. And the poor souls who can't figure out this game, for them it's all about escape. They're just trying to escape the harsh reality of this illusion. Think about that word. Talk about a dichotomy. The reality of this illusion, right? The false reality. For them, it's all about escape. It's all about just numbing themselves to the frustration and the pain and the loss and the sorrow and the never-ending disappointment of this illusion. And so they numb themselves with drugs. They escape with alcohol. They dive into the bottoms of the worst forms of entertainment. Again, looking for cheap thrills, cheap highs, cheap titillation. Over and over and over again. So it doesn't matter if you succeed in this illusion or if you fail in this illusion. You still find yourselves doing the same thing, asking the same questions, being frustrated in the same exact ways. And whether you're lost and hopeless and addicted, or whether you're constantly climbing the mountain only to find you're at the bottom of another and endlessly being frustrated, endlessly seeking the answers, endlessly clawing, scratching, and cannibalizing for more, you're bound. You're chained, you're yoked to the rules of this ephemeral reality, this temporary mirage, this illusion, this hallucination that we call life, which is not the real life. It's not the way, the truth, and the life. It's far from it. And so I talk about being in this world, but not of this world. And that's the solution. And here's where we get into what Paul talked about in the book of Timothy, in the gospel, in the good news. He talks about the soldier, the athlete, and the farmer. And so the way it works is you've got, I'm not saying it in the order that Paul says it, just for the purposes of how I'm telling this story, but ultimately what you have here is you have the athlete. And just like the athlete will not be crowned champion unless he plays that game, that sport, to its rules. And we're not talking about the sports and the bread and circus of this reality. We're talking about, this is a parable for the everlasting life, the way, the truth, and the life, the Word. We're talking about the everlasting kingdom. We're talking about the real, the kingdom to come, the kingdom that gets established here on this earth When Christ comes, when he comes and he crushes beneath his feet all the diversions, distractions, all the evil and all the hatred, all the sadness, all the disillusionment, all the anxiety, all the horror, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, the demons of this world, all get crushed beneath his feet. All of the detractors and the haters that you have to deal with, the poisonous ones, the ones whose whispers drip with venom, all of the psychic vampires and negative influencers, all of the corruptors and evildoers and misleaders and deceivers, they all get crushed, dissolved beneath his feet when he comes. And make no mistake about it, he is on his way. We are living through we're in the days of Noah, the trial and tribulation all around us, the war and the misery, the chaos, the hatred that's being sown, pitting man against his brother, woman against her sister, over and over and over again, an endless cycle of tearing our souls to pieces. Again, as I said, to claw, scratch, get ahead. But again, the manipulation is endless by the demons of this world that pit us against each other. But in Yahushua HaMashiach, we play a different game. We walk a road. We walk a path, the path to kingdom come, which is illuminated when his light shines down on us. Because that light shines down on us when we come to him in our most desperate moments, in the most need we've ever been in, when we're at the brink, when we're at the edge, when we're at the end of our rope and all seems hopeless, and we're at the worst of tragedies, and we finally come to him and we ask for his salvation, and immediately he answers with the real revelations, with the real epiphanies, with the real blueprint, the real instruction for the only gateway to paradise, the only gateway to the kingdom to come, the only gateway to the Father is through the Son, not through these lying Pharisees, lying scribes. Woe to them, the hypocrites that they are. Only the journey within is what counts. Only the journey within will take you to a connection with Yahuwah, the Most High, and Yahusha, the perfect Lamb of Yah. Why? Because Yahuwah, Yahusha, and the set-apart Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, lives within us. It's not out there, it's right in here. His new covenant, the living law, is written on our hearts. The old law, the law of stone, the law that's carved into concrete, it grows cold. It reveals sin and condemnation and penance, and it is for the unbelievers, the unfaithful. But the new law, the new covenant, the gospel, is written on our hearts. It lives forever because it's written on us, in the saved, in the redeemed, in the delivered, who have everlasting life, such that the law has everlasting life. And what does that reveal? That reveals the way, the truth, and the life in the Word. It reveals the path to the kingdom to come, to the kingdom of Yahuwah. And so that is now lit up for us. When that light shines down, when we come to Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, and we confess to him, because we finally realize what we've done, who we've been, what we are. We feel the guilt, we feel the shame, we feel the horror, we feel the hatred for who we were. When we come to him and we confess all of our sins, all of our evil, what we've been, where we've been, who we were, and the true sorrow we have for that old life. When we come to him asking for the new life, and he grants it immediately. Like I said, it's like a thunderbolt. The epiphanies, the revelations, and you're refreshed, you're revised, you're reconstructed, you are renewed, and you are reborn once again in the image of the Creator. We were created originally by Yahuwah in his image, which is why we train, which is why we strengthen this body, because it's the temple that houses the Ruach HaKodesh, the set-apart Spirit. And so we keep it strong, right, in honor of Yahuwah, who created this. Because the single most important commandment, love Yahuwah with all of our hearts, mind, soul, and strength, and love our fellow man as we love ourselves. And the only way you can love your fellow man and as you love yourself is to nurture yourself, to nurture the hardware you've been given, to nurture the heart, to nurture the soul, to nurture the mind you've been given with the good news, the gospel, right? With the word, the way, the truth, and the life. And that nourishes the soul. And the food of Yahuwah, the natural, single ingredient, untoxic, unpoisoned, non-man-made foods that Yahuwah gives us, that he has bestowed, the blessings that he's given us with the one ingredient natural foods that we can eat, the meat, the vegetables, the fruits. And this way we can nourish ourselves, nourish our bodies, and we can nourish our spirits with the gospel and the good news and the word of Yahushua HaMashiach. And then we can nourish the mind with good, productive, wholesome knowledge, right? The type of knowledge that allows us to inspire, to motivate, to invent, so that we can, for what purpose? Ultimately, to help our fellow man. so that we can lift them up. Because if we're inspired, if we're motivated, if we're knowledgeable with wholesome, good, productive knowledge and spiritual nourishment, then we can help lift our fellow man up, our fellow man who's in need, our fellow man who needs help. We can lift them up because we can encourage them because we're encouraged. We can motivate them because we're motivated. We can inspire them because we're inspired. And when that light shines down from us, because when we've confessed to Yahuwah and He saved us, and we're on our knees praying on how grateful, because for the first time in your life, you're so grateful. You're unimaginably grateful because now you realize you have more than you've ever known in Yahushua HaMashiach. All is revealed and more. All is received and more. So not only do you get the epiphanies and the revelations and the knowledge, but you also get, especially when you're ruminating, contemplating, and meditating on the Word, the parables, the life of Yahushua HaMashiach, and you're contemplating it and you're meditating on it, what ends up happening is you get layers and layers and layers deep. He delivers layers deep of revelation and epiphany, but you're also receiving. You're receiving His healing light, a light that destroys the darkness, that obliterates the darkness, because He is the light of this world, such that the darkness cannot comprehend, the darkness cannot fathom, the darkness cannot overcome it, such that the light of Yahuwah smashes into the darkness dissipates once and forever, and now you're in the light. You're in the light, and you're so thankful for it. You're so thankful. You're so grateful. For the first time in your life, you feel true thankfulness, true gratefulness. You're finally fulfilled. You're finally satisfied. You're no longer questioning. You're no longer wondering, what does it all mean? What are the answers? What are the keys to the universe? What is my life for? What is my purpose? You now know, and your cup, you've received so much in these moments, in prayer, deep in nourishment of the spiritual word. You're receiving so much, your cup runs over, and you feel compelled. You feel compelled to share the good news, right? And so you're shouting from the rooftops. And then not only that, but then you're surrendering, because you realize, hey, you tried it your way, it never worked, but now you're surrendering to Yahushua HaMashiach and Yahuwah, and you are asking for Yahusha's guidance, for Him to show you how to live your life in a manner that pleases Him most. And then you realize the manner that pleases Him most, and from which all good things spring, all good habits spring, all productivity springs, all positive energy springs, all healing springs from the single commandment that I said that He gave us. He made it super simple. He said, you love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and if you do that, you'll obey His commandments. But how could you not? Because you love Yahuwah with all your mind, heart, soul, and strength, such that that's all you could ever do. It's all you want to do. You want to obey Yahuwah. You want to honor His commandments. You want to live that life. You want to live that life in Yahuwah, Yahusha. And the other part of that commandment is love your fellow man as you love yourself. And from that is the wellspring from which all the good energy comes from, all of the instructions come from, all of the ways to live our life. And so that light now that's shining down on you, that is absolutely making you feel warm and safe and redeemed, also is bursting forth from within inside you. You have the Ruach HaKodesh, the set apart spirit, and that light is bursting forth from within you, such that it's an infinite number of rays that people can see bursting out from you, such that those who are lost and who are currently in a situation that is hopeless, frustrated, they're anxious, they're wallowing in addictions, and they're suffering all of the tragedy and the sorrow and the despair, depression, and frustration, that they're in exactly a place that we once were. And in that light bursting forth from you, when they see this energy, they see this love, they see this healing, they realize, wait a second, just like if they were lost at sea in the fog, and there's all of a sudden a beacon, a lighthouse, they can see, oh my God, there's land, and now they know how to save themselves. And so what happens when they see the light within us, when they see the salvation in us? They're seeing the light of Yahuwah, Yahusha, they're seeing it bursting forth from us, and they realize, if a wretch like me can be saved, so can they. If a wretch like you can be saved, so can they. And then that light not only shines down on you, not only bursts forth from within you, but also it shines down on the path. It shines down on the path so that we can see it, and we can march true and strong as a soldier, unstoppable, unconquerable, undefeatable, unassailable, right? So now we move from the athlete who plays by the rules of this existence, the rules of the kingdom to come, the rules of Yahuwah, Yahusha, which, as I said, what's that single commandment, right? That's how you win. That's how you're crowned. That's how you win the crown. That's how you win the ultimate championship. That's how you enter the kingdom of Yahuwah. That is the real goal. That is the real. Okay, not tying yourself to these ephemeral trophies and the revelry and the celebration that you get from a simple victory in this false reality. The revelry that's only just besoddening yourself and soaking yourself and drowning in party drugs and party drinks and party entertainment, which only leaves you, again, like I said, bereft, sorry, feeling ill, feeling sick, again, always wanting more, and sometimes it leaves you just addicted. But now we have not just the simple rule to win that ultimate victory, which is what? Very simple. As I said, love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love your fellow man as you love yourself. And therein is the rule to win the ultimate championship, the ultimate title, the ultimate goal. And then, like the soldier, what is it about the soldier? Well, the soldier, this is how, and we're going back to the beginning of what I said. How do you live a life where you're in this world but not of this world? Think about it as a soldier does. And again, this isn't coming from me. This is right from Paul and his letter to Timothy, in the good news, in the Gospels. And what does he say? This is it. This is it. This is in the new. This is it. In the new. This is it. Right? It's just like you're a soldier, and you report into a commander, and the good soldier, the honorable soldier, the true soldier, who's a true warrior, who's engaged in warfare, and for us it's spiritual warfare, but for a true soldier engaged in spiritual warfare, what happens? They don't concern themselves with civilian life or the issues of civilians. They concern themselves with the war and the issues of warfare. And that is how you manage to understand that you're no longer playing by these rules. You're no longer in this life. You may be in this world, but you're no longer of this world, because you're in a spiritual war, a spiritual battle. You're a spiritual warrior, a warrior for Yahuwah Yahusha. And in doing that, you'll realize we don't get involved in the games and the babbling and the idle talk and the idle chatter and the complaining and the frustration and anxiety and gossip and sin and seduction and lust and temptation and evil and sin of this world. We're set apart. We set ourselves apart from it, and we concern ourselves only with spiritual warfare, not the war of this life, but the war that counts, the spiritual warfare, the war for our soul. And the way we keep our soul strong is we nourish it with the good news, with the gospel, with the phrases, the parables of Yahuwah, Yahusha, Hamashiach. And what else we do? In all faith to Yahuwah, in all belief of Yahuwah, we get to wear the armor of Yah. We wear the armor of Yah such that we're impregnable, impenetrable from the demons of this world and their slings and their arrows and their persuasion and their influence and their temptation and their indulgence. We're wearing that armor, but we're also filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, the set-apart spirit who lives within us, and the light is bursting forth from us such that it dissolves all negative energy, all wayward frequencies, all chaotic thought is wiped away, and all the psychic vampires, negative influencers, and their bad and negative energy, the Ruach HaKodesh is wielded like a sword within us, and it evaporates and obliterates that negative energy, those negative influencers, those psychic vampires. The demons of this world are obliterated. They can't get near you because that light that's shooting out from you is so strong. And so therein is how we win that spiritual war. And then finally, there's the farmer, right? So we said Paul talks about the soldier, the athlete, and then there's the farmer. And the farmer, man, the farmer works hard. The farmer tills the soil. The farmer plants the seed. The farmer nourishes the crops. The farmer then is the first to eat the good fruits, the good crops of the harvest. He harvests, he reaps what he sows, and the farmer that works hard and sows fertile soil and productive seed has the nourishing, nutritional, glorifying, empowering foods that come from a life of farming in dedication to Yahuwah Yahusha. And when we talk about farming, we talk about, this is all obviously a metaphor, right? For tilling the soil of our life, for planting productive seeds so that good things may grow from it, and then eating of the fruit and of the good crops that come when you reap the positive productivity that you sow, when you sow positive energy, when you sow productive energy, when you sow constructive energy, when you sow good news, when you sow the good news of the kingdom of Yahuwah, and you look to encourage others, and you look to build others up, and you look to motivate others and inspire others and help others. When you do all of that, the fruits that grow from that tree, it's the most nourishing, delicious, glorifying, empowering food, the most strengthening food that you will ever eat. And then we eat of the kingdom, we eat from the food of the kingdom of Yahuwah, the soldier, the athlete, and the farmer. So let us walk true and strong like the soldier on this path that we're now on, the path that we're so strong on, that's so lit up, bright and brilliant, that keeps us on the way, on the road, that we've received so much, such that our cup runneth over, such that we're not only walking it true and strong, but we're clearing the way for the fact that he is coming. We're clearing the path for him. We're clearing the path for others, so that we can walk strong and tall, and others that are lost, that are hopeless, that are feeling the pain and frustration and anxiety of this life, that they can see us on the path. They can see us strong, tall, steadfast. And so that when they see the light bursting forth from us and that we're saved, they know there's a way for them. They know there's a truth for them. They know there's a life for them. It's the way, the truth, and the life. It's the Word. It's Yahusha, Hamashiach, the Messiah. And so join us on this pilgrimage. Join us on this faith walk. Join us on this journey. Nothing will ever feel as strong as this in your life. It will resonate as much as nothing will ever resonate like this will in your life. Nothing will ever fill you with the satisfaction and the gratification and the gratefulness and thankfulness that you'll experience for being in the loving arms of Yahuwah, Yahusha, and feeling his glory, feeling his strength, feeling his power, and being filled with that spirit, that set-apart spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, such that you feel alive. You were dead. You were perishing. Your soul and your heart was hard, but now your heart is open. The hole and the wound that was in it, that was as deep as the deepest canyon, is now healed, and you are completely reborn, reconstituted, re-energized, and you're alive. You were the walking dead before. You were a zombie before. You were walking in the shadows, but now you walk in the light. You were stumbling around in the darkness your whole life. Now you're walking true and strong and steadfast in the light, and nothing can stop you, because we're together in this. They can't. We are walking arm in arm. We are united such that they can never divide us any longer, because we're wearing the armor of Yah. We're wielding the Ruach HaKodesh as a sword, as a weapon, such that we obliterate all negative energy in our path, all demons on our path, and we wear the helmet of salvation. And we do this together, such that the demons of this world, the psychic vampires, the negative influencers, the evil ones of this world that would seek to separate us, that would seek to divide us, that would seek to conquer us, they no longer stand a chance. We're impervious to them. We're impregnable. And so we'll walk this road together, because together they cannot sow division, they cannot sow hatred, they cannot pit us against each other any longer. We're too strong for that. We're children of Yahuwah, Yahusha, and in so doing, we are powerful. We are unstoppable. We are unconquerable in the name. All praise to Yahuwah Yahusha. All honor to Yahuwah Yahusha. All love to Yahuwah Yahusha. All healing in the name of Yahuwah Yahusha. And we will walk. We will walk. In fact, we will march. March. Taller than ever, stronger than ever, undeniable, unassailable, undefeatable, unconquerable, ceaseless, relentless, like a freight train. We will move with speed and strength and grace to kingdom come.